There we go. You might have to just say, yes, go ahead. All right, cool. Oh, we got a couple more joining.
Oh, good. I was just gonna call Cherish and be like, hey.
Yeah, do. If you guys, if anyone knows of anybody who is planning to be on, remind them, give them a little prod. Okay. Hi, Megan. Welcome. Um, you guys are perfect timing. We're just getting started. So, hey, Ken.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. How's the new house?
Loving it. Loving it. It's definitely a huge blessing.
Awesome. Good. Okay. Well, speaking of new beginnings, let's get this party started. Okay, so if you are watching the recording right now, or if you're with us live, let's just go ahead and take a deep breath. I know everyone's day has brought different things, so take a deep breath. Hold it for just a couple seconds and relax. Okay, just a little brief recentering. Happy Monday. What an amazing way to start your week. I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this moment since we put it on the calendar, I don't know, a month ago, a few weeks ago, whatever. Health is wealth. And if you ignore your health, it will go away. So this is I have so much, you guys are my heroes. I have so much respect and I'm so excited for you that you've taken this time to invest in your health because you know there's it is the most important thing to invest in. We talk about investing in real estate and businesses and making sure your retirement's good, and I'm not taking away from that, but you don't need your retirement if you're not here, right? So health is really important. I know that some of you are veterans. You've been part of the New Hope Health family for a long time. Welcome. I love you. For those of you who are brand new, maybe new to me, maybe new to the detox, maybe new to all things holistic health, and you don't know what you're getting into, but something said, I got to do this. I welcome you too. And I want to, hopefully those of you who've been around for a while know this, but I want to promise you, and this is so important to me, that I will hold a safe space for you during this time. So there's no dumb question. There's no wrong struggle. So don't suffer in silence. There won't be a whole lot of suffering. There's a lot of victories. We're going to talk about that every week. But if you are having, this is just the nature of life, right? Inevitably, when you do something like this, some weeks are going to go smoother than others, right? Some weeks you're going to be like, I'm getting breakthroughs and this is getting better and that's getting better. And then other weeks you're going to be like, I don't know if I can do this, right? So during those times when things are going well, please share so that we can all celebrate with you, and so that somebody maybe who's not doing so well can get infected in the best of ways by your wins. And when you're not doing so well, please share so that you'll be shocked. Some of you who've done this program before know this, but for those of you who are new, the support you're going to get from me and my staff, of course, but also the other members in here, like everybody wants you to win, and we want you to win big, and we want you to win bigger than you thought you could win in 4 weeks. So it's going to be an amazing journey. So in speaking of safe space, I want you to be comfortable and present. So if it helps you to put on your pajamas before you come to the call, I'm cool with it. If it helps you, if you need to eat so you can be part of the call, great, do it. Whatever you need to do, I'm good with. Okay. I would love for your cameras to be on if possible, but if you're like, I got to do something real quick so I can be present and you can't have your camera on for a while, I'm not going to bug you about it. I'll probably remind you every week, but other than that, most of you guys are great. So no problem. Okay, I want to really fast review the protocol. So you should have gotten Thursday or Friday of last week, as well as in the WhatsApp group, you should have gotten a video from me, which I believe was about 30 minutes or so. as well as a PDF. They cover the same things, but I know some people prefer to have things in writing and other people prefer to have things in like video or audio format. So this covers like kind of the nuts and bolts of like getting started. Hopefully you watched that or you've reviewed that and you know kind of what to do, but just in case not, I just want to review again the most important real quick things that you're doing. So on an empty stomach, first thing in the morning is typically the easiest because that's when our stomach is usually the emptiest, but it does not have to be first thing in the morning. You're going to take your liver sauce. 30 minutes later, you're going to take your ultra binder. You should have done that this morning. Some people will feel a little warm after, 15, 20, 30 minutes after they take the liver sauce. Most of you will feel nothing at all, which is great. There's no wrong or right answer to that. It's just some people are more sensitive. Some days you feel it, other days you may not. But those are the main things as far as what you're taking, those two products. So you're going to take the liver sauce 30 minutes later, and please don't forget, set a timer. Also, I forgot to set my spoon next to me, but your little medicine spoon that you have, just remember that is 2 teaspoons, 5 milliliters, or 1 teaspoon is what you want of the liver sauce. If you take too much, you won't have enough to get you through the whole detox. If you don't have enough, you will have supposed to been done and you'll still have a little bit extra. Neither of those circumstances are end of the world circumstances, but as close as you can get. Try to get as close as you can get. Then 30 minutes after the ultra binder, you can eat. Okay. Any questions? Hi, Marianne. Hi, Cherish. Welcome. Any questions on the basic protocol with those 2 supplements? Okay, and just blurt out if you have questions, or if I don't see you, you can always raise your hand, or you can raise your virtual hand. There's a little hand button, or if I don't see it, just yell at me. Okay, so couple things I want to go through. There was one assignment, hopefully everybody has been working on. This is a really, really quick list of symptoms assignment. So most people find this like a little bit, like at first it comes easy. Like, if you've got horrible headaches all the time, or if you have weight to lose that you've been battling long term. So when you write your list of symptoms, this is anything going on in your body that's not right, or your mind, I should say. If you have, anxiety or brain fog or memory issues, all of that counts. Any symptoms. And you're not going to be turning this in, but you will be using this throughout the detox. So just make sure that you write down anything you can think of. And then, to be thorough, go through the 3 ways I told you to find your symptoms. Number 1, go through your day. So you wake up in the morning. As soon as you wake up, what do you notice? Are you aching? Like, is there pain? Are you cloudy? Are you like, oh, I don't want to get up? Do you feel great? Okay, you get up, maybe you go to the bathroom, you go get your water. Do you feel like you have to have a bowel movement, but it's not coming? Do you, are you like can't function until you get to caffeine? Like, any symptoms you feel, go through your day. Okay. That's one way to find these symptoms, because we get so used to these things that we forget that they're symptoms. Number 2, go through your body, head to toe. Head to toe. So, starting at the top, your hair, is it healthy, strong, shiny, or is it dry, falling out, thinning, greasy, graying? Your head, are you having headaches? Are you having brain fog? Are you dealing with anxiety? Your vision, is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Do you have any floaters? Okay, go down to your ears. Any ringing in the ears? Any trouble hearing? Go down to your jaw. Does it pop? Does it crack? Do your teeth hurt? Do you have sinus pressure? So you get the idea. Go through your whole body, your throat. Are you having to clear your throat all the time, right? And then the third thing, which requires a little more humility, is ask somebody you live with, because sometimes we take for granted, we're just so used to our own issues, that we don't even see them. So if somebody's like, yeah, you snore, you keep me up every night, or I don't know, you have gas, or you have body odor, or the things that only the ones that live with you probably hopefully will tell you. So make that pretty thorough. This is going to be a working document. This is not meant to like stack the cards against you or make you feel bad. It's actually going to serve, it's like what the enemy meant for good, for bad, we're going to use for good. This is going to serve as a source of great encouragement as we progress through the detox, because you're going to see these things just be picked off, right? But the thing I want you to see too, and the reason I want I want you to do kind of a thorough self-examination, is because these symptoms are not normal, right? They may be common. A lot of people may have them, but you were not created to have symptoms. You were created for total, radiant, optimal health and abundance in your energy, in your vitality, your thinking. And so I want to have like a contrast. Any questions on that? Or does anybody want to share a symptom that they realized, or anything coming up on that issue? Jump right in.
Something I didn't write down. Can you hear me all right? I'm a little far away from the computer. Okay.
Yeah, you're good, Michelle.
Something I didn't write down last time was my jaw being tight. Like sometimes my jaw's tight.
Good.
Probably because I'm thinking about stuff. I don't know. Yeah.
Yep. Good. And there can be a lot of reasons for that. We're not going to spend a lot of time on the reasons. We just want to get rid of it. But if you note it, I think that's helpful. And we'll talk a little bit more at the end exactly what we're going to do with this. But perfect. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to share? See, this is, some of you are like, oh, I got to add that to my list. So it helps when you share for that reason. Anybody else come up with something that they're like, oh, I wouldn't have thought about that, but now that you say it, I do have itchy, dry skin on my shins all the time, or something crazy like that.
My right knee pops once in a while.
Okay, good. And these are the things, thank you, Jerry. These are the things that, like, it's such a simple thing. We do get used to it. And we're like, oh yeah, that's just my knee. If it was your left one, you might be alarmed, but your right one you're used to, right? So perfect. Write that down. And guys, as you're listening to this, it's like, for you, it might not be the knee. It might be a shoulder. It might be, it could be any other joint. It could be some back pain. It could be like not even pain, just some cracking or something that it doesn't do this on this side, but it does it on the other side. Or some of you have, and I see this a lot, these kind of weird runaway symptoms where you're like, it happened this time, it didn't happen last time. I thought it was because of dairy, but it wasn't, because the next time I ate dairy and it didn't do it. It's like something that, like, maybe it's a sharp headache that only lasts for 10 seconds, but it's like, it's not normal, but it comes and goes. It could be anything like that. So if you have something, that kind of fades in and out, put that down. Any other shares on that? Okay. I want to go through, and as we progress, we'll talk more about the liver, but why, this detox, technically it's a liver detox, as you probably gathered by the fact that we're taking liver sauce, most amazing name ever, right? I love that name. If you didn't already think you were doing something cool, once you take liver sauce, you're like, it just seems like it's got to work. But your liver's so important for optimal health. So your liver is really key for digestion, and it works primarily sort of alongside or in tandem with your gallbladder, specifically to digest fats. Now, for some of you, the two questions that always come up, oh yeah, but I don't eat, I only eat plant-based, so that I don't have that issue. Well, if you're eating plant-based, then I agree, that's excellent, but you're still getting fat, right? Plant fat is still fat that needs to be broken down by the liver and gallbladder. So we still need that liver optimally functioning. The other question that comes up a lot is, oh, wait a minute, I don't have a gallbladder, right? Then your liver's working even harder. If you don't have a gallbladder, like as in it's been removed, it's part of the factory parts. So you have one unless it's been removed. If you don't have a gallbladder or the gallbladder is under functioning, then your liver is automatically working harder. So it's going to need extra support. Also, if your liver's working harder, what can't be taken care of by the liver gets kind of pushed over into the kidneys. So now the kidneys are working harder. And you can see how we start having this like long list of symptoms when certain parts of the body are overworked or kind of beat up. Your liver also produces the majority of your hormones. So, you know, if for those of you who suspect or are concerned about hormone issues, whether, and this could be anything from menopause and PMS to erectile dysfunction or fertility, you know, if you're trying to have a baby, anything hormone related, we need the liver for that. Liver also is going to be really key in dealing with cholesterol. So if there's any cholesterol challenges, if your cholesterol is too high, if you have cholesterol that does not, high cholesterol that doesn't respond to medications, your liver is playing a role there. And then also, what most of you are well aware of is that your liver is one of the body's biggest detox organs. So anything that goes in or on the body has to be processed through the liver. So I say in or on because we all think about food and drinks and medications, but we often don't think about lotion and deodorant and toxic cleaners and all the other things that we're breathing in or putting on our skin, things like that. So, you know, when we think about what the liver does and all the burdens it's carrying, the purpose of this detox is to clear out the liver, and also through some of the upgrades that we're doing, reduce the burden on the liver to begin with, right? If you're driving your car really hard and fast down the highway, you're going to need gas more often. But also, you might need to occasionally stop driving so hard and fast. You might need to occasionally take a Sunday stroll. So we're doing both. We're easing up on the drive a little bit, and we're putting premium fuel in for a few weeks. So our theme this week is to be consistent without judgment or rigidity. This is really key. For some of you, you're probably good at this. For most of us, we're going to either struggle with the consistency or the judgment and rigidity, right? We're either really consistent, but we judge ourselves, or we're inconsistent and then we don't get the results. So our goal is to start working into a space where we're more consistent. But this is one of the things I really love about this, the way this is set up is for this detox, is that there is some flexibility built into this. So as you know, if you listen to the video, the detox supplements, the liver sauce and the ultra binder, you're actually, well, actually, let me just take a brief second and talk about those. So the liver sauce stirs the pot, right? If you can think of like a pond that has lots of sludge and it's kind of settled, that's your liver. In this analogy, the liver sauce stirs it up and then helps spit it out. That process takes about 30 minutes, which is why in 30 minutes we take the ultra binder. And the ultra binder, I really love this this particular binder. There's other binders on the market, but what I like about the ultra binder is all that stuff coming out, it's going to carry and help actually flush it out of your body. But it also has in it, if you look at it, it's got some synergistic cofactors that also help like calm the gut. Like a lot of binders send you like running to the restroom. There's no laxatives in this, right? So anyway, so the two supplements that you're taking them 5 days a week. I highly suggest that you do them Monday through Friday, just because that's what I'm going to always be talking about. And that is typically the easiest for most people to remember. It's like, cool, there's 5 weekdays, there's 2 weekend days. You take it during the week, you don't have to worry about it on the weekend. However, if your Friday is nuts, but your Sunday is a little more chill and you want to like, okay, it just, for me, I can get my head around taking Friday and Saturday off and going, Sunday through Thursday, you can do that. So this is where like, we don't have to have rigidity, right? There is room, or if God forbid you just forget a day, you're like, oh my gosh, it's Wednesday night and I just did not take my stuff. And here I am laying in bed. No worries. Don't stress about it. You just want 5 days on, 2 days off. It is ideal if the 5 days on are, 1 through 5, like all in a row, but they don't have to be. So if you end up taking a day off on the weekend and a day off in the middle of the week, no problem. Fair? Any questions? Give me a good yes, thumbs up. Perfect. Beautiful. Okay. A couple of things I want to just review in terms of getting the most out of your detox. We're going to keep it pretty simple. I'm going to tell you the most important things, and then we're going to dive into a couple of them. I've got a few things I want to cover, so I'm going to just jump into this. So thing number 1, water. I'd like you to get your water in ounces. That means if you weigh 200 pounds, you're drinking 200 ounces of water. Now, I know for some of you, you're going to feel like you're floating, like you're going to feel like a fish. You do not have to do this overnight. So if you're brand new to this world of drinking that much, don't stress. Take a few days to work up to that. If you've been in this game for a while and half your weight in ounces you're always doing, bump it up. Normally, I don't know that you necessarily, unless you're pregnant or nursing, you don't necessarily have to drink your weight in ounces. Okay. But while you're doing a detox, your body's working really, really hard. And we're going to talk more about water in a minute, but your body's working really hard. You got to give it some more solution to flush out the pollution. The solution to pollution is dilution. We need more water. Yes, you'll be peeing a lot. But you do get used to it. So not to worry. Not to worry. Your little bladders will be just fine. By the way, I drink my weight in ounces every day. Yes. Okay, Valerie, I'm gonna answer that. If I don't answer that question in a minute when I talk about food, flag me down because it's on my radar. Okay, so water, drink your weight in ounces, start first thing in the morning. We'll talk about that more in a moment. Thing number 2, really important, guard your sleep. Your body's working really hard. You're doing a detox. Now, most of you will find that you're going to feel really good during this, but you may hit times where like you've been like, oh my gosh, I felt great for 12 days. And all of a sudden on day 13, I'm so tired. This is your body like releasing extra. That happens on a detox. If you've ever done fasting, the same thing happens. You get to somewhere, I mean, it depends on how long you're fast and what you're doing, but somewhere along the way, you go from feeling great to being tanked to feeling great again. So typically when that happens, it doesn't last long. Most of the time, my students, my people that are working with me don't feel it a lot because we're doing so much. Like even if you're drinking your weight in ounces, most of you who did that, who've done this program before, you didn't notice that. Or if you did, it was like so subtle. It was like, yeah, maybe that one afternoon, like it was not a major issue. So get your water, guard your sleep. Sleep is super important. So at night when you sleep is when your body heals, repairs, restores, kicks out bad cells, regenerates your brain, resets your hormones, all of the things that help you restore your health. So as best as you can, I'd like you to be sleeping from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. If your schedule, like you just can't do that because of work, do your best. Don't stress about that. But definitely don't stay up late watching TV. Give yourself the gift of tucking yourself in a little bit early. Definitely be on the calls or listen to the recordings ASAP. We record these because we know everybody's schedule is different. I want everybody to get the both the teaching and the content from the calls, but also I want you to hear from each other, because what is going to happen in the preceding weeks is contagious and infectious in the most incredible way. Treat yourself like you would a toddler. Now, here's what I mean. I know some of you have heard me say this, but if you had a toddler, most of you, many of you have had a toddler, or you have nieces, nephews, grandkids, neighbor kids, somebody, you got a little 2 or 3 or 4-year-old in your life. You would never tell them, like, I know you're tired, but you got stuff to do, keep going. Right? But this is how we treat ourselves, right? We push through, we skip meals. Would you ever have a toddler skip a meal? Right? Yeah, exactly. Definitely not. So recognize that you're somebody's child and you are worth going all in on. Go all in on this. And then the last one for the basic what is this, 5 things to get the most out of this detox, is do the upgrade. We have some missions, some upgrade assignments if you choose to accept them. Go all in on these. You're going to love them. They're very powerful. Some of them will be the same as the last time for those of you who've done the program, and there's some new surprises coming at you. So then I wanted to just throw out a couple of things that are absolutely not required, but will help you get more out of the detox. So skin brushing. We talked about this a little bit in the video. This is dry skin brushing before you shower. Not going to spend a lot of time on this because I already did. But you're like brushing your skin dry before you get in the shower toward the heart. So always towards the heart. So like toes towards the hips, fingers towards the shoulders. This opens the pores in your skin, and your skin is a living organ and also a really powerful detox organ. Now there's a little catch here. Christy, if you can put the links for the shower filters in the chat. Some of you are aware, but if you are taking long hot showers, especially if you're brushing your skin, which I really love, but if you're doing this in municipal or city water, you're opening your pores up to let out toxins, and probably some come out, but then you're also like reabsorbing those toxins, or other toxins, I should say, into your skin through the shower. So if you have well water, I can't say this dogmatically, but you're more likely to be okay. But if you have city water that's not filtered somehow, you are getting, I mean, it's so crazy. You're getting fluoride, you're getting chlorine. These are known brain toxins. You're literally getting your neighbor's pharmaceuticals. The government has something called the GRAS list, GRAS. That stands for generally recognized as safe. There are GRAS doses of certain chemicals, and the list is insane. It's like pages long. You can legally have a certain amount of arsenic in your water. You can have a certain amount of chlorine. Like, none of us would go out to our pools and grab a glass of water out of it. But we can put it in our city water. So we have to be very careful. Christy put the shower filters in. If you're interested, if you don't have something like that, that would be a good option for you. But we have to be very careful when we're trying to drink more water, but we're drinking more water that has toxins in it. We're taking in toxins while we're trying to get rid of toxins, right? So, that's something to be aware of. Skin brush, and then tongue scraping. Now, for those of you who's new to tongue scraping, this is a new concept, haven't done, okay, yes, a few of you, good. It is so easy. It takes less than maybe 10 seconds at the most. You're literally just holding onto the handles, especially first thing in the morning, because that's when all the toxins are really bubbled up. You're going to start towards the back, like towards your back of your throat. Don't gag yourself, but that's the direction you're heading. And then like just push down on your tongue a little bit and pull forward, and just be ready. Like, what comes off your tongue, it doesn't look good. It's like this white snot. It's kind of gross. It will be gross tomorrow already, but once you're like a week into the detox, it's like stuff's coming out. I like it because I think it's productive, right? It's good to see the stuff, right? But tongue scraping, you can do this as often as you like. It is very helpful if you have any issues with like bad breath. You know, toxins are going to be coming out everywhere. So you can scrape the tongue several times a day, but I for sure would recommend it first thing in the morning and before you go to bed. Another one that's not required, kind of a bonus, anything that moves lymph. So your lymphatic system, unlike your cardiovascular system, does not have a pump. It only moves, and your lymphatic system, by the way, is what takes the trash out in your body. It is like your garbage transport system. So its pump is you. When you rebound, when you walk, when you exercise, when you skin brush, if you want to get a massage, all of these things help move lymphatic fluid, thereby carrying out toxins. Another really novel idea when you're doing a detox is stop putting toxins in as much as you can help it. So I know some of you are like, this is super obvious. Some of you have been on this journey for a while. When we think about toxins, we think about food, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Food for sure is a factor, but also be thinking about all the other ways we're getting toxins. You know, are you getting toxins every time you shower? Are you, do you have deodorants, lotions, shampoos, hair dyes, air fresheners, what else is there, cleaners, things like that, that you're, putting toxins into your body. Now, some toxins we can't help. If you have to drive to work, you're breathing in some aromatic petrochemicals from car fumes and things like that. Your body's prepared to detoxify for you, but let's not push it, right? So anything we can do to reduce that. The other things that will really help is engaging in the group. When I looked at some of the testimonials from the first cohort, what I found is it was very interesting. There was like a direct correlation. The people that had the best results were really engaged with the group. They were walking alongside. You don't have to post 800 times a day or anything, but they were checking in. They were involved in the group. I know everyone has a lot to do, and sometimes these notifications can get overwhelming. But this one is worth investing in. You've made the investment, so go all in and engage in the group. Ask questions. And your questions can be like, hey, what's everybody doing to get their water in? Any special tricks? Somebody asked that last time, and you guys came out of the woodwork, those of you who were in the group before. Then next, we're going to talk about if you have access to a sauna. Saunas are great during a detox. Just make sure you're drinking plenty of water, maybe a little more if you're sweating a lot. And then the last one we're going to talk about is food upgrades. Now, for those of you who are like, whoa, you said I didn't have to make any crazy, food changes. You don't have to make any crazy food changes. However, you've made the investment and you might want to give yourself the gift of ramping it up just a little bit by reducing what I'm going to say are kind of like the top four, sugar, we'll say five, sugar, animal products, processed foods, alcohol, and caffeine. Christy, will you type? Oh, never mind. I can just do it from here. These, by the way, the way I'm teaching, this is not necessarily meant, you can take notes if something hits you, but you have the recording. So know that. I want you to relax, and there you go. Sugar, animal products, processed foods, alcohol, and caffeine. You can relax and just take it all in. If you can reduce these, now listen, hear me please, for those of you who maybe are in a panic about your coffee or your wine or whatever the case might be. Reduce means reduce. It does not mean eliminate. So if you have a love affair with your morning coffee, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying maybe we reduce it by 10%. So maybe you don't have it on the weekends, or maybe you do it instead of a 16-ounce cup, you go with the 12-ounce cup, right? Now, one of the things that will help you do this is really amazing. And I always love this when I'm working with new clients that have various cravings or like sugar addictions, coffee, alcohol, whatever it is as you get healthier, as your liver starts working better, as you start feeling better and you have more energy, a lot of the desire for this stuff chills out a bit, right? I'm not saying that it stops tasting good, but if it tastes good, but you don't crave it, then you just got your control back. You're no longer possessed by a given substance, right? Caffeine's hard to avoid if you never have energy and you're exhausted. So I'm always asking the question, and some of you have asked this before, when you talk about like wanting tons of coffee, the first question I always ask is, it's like, do you love the taste of it, or do you need it so you can function, right? There's a big difference in how we handle that. But it's very common once your liver starts clearing out, therefore you start sleeping better, therefore your energy is better. The need for especially like sugar and caffeine tends to be like settled down a little bit. Now, I'm really big on the put ons, not just a long list of put offs. So the things to increase, these are going to be vegetables, fruits, beans, lentils, any whole grains, nuts and seeds that you tolerate well. So of course, if you don't do well with grains, don't do grains. If you're gluten-free, stay gluten-free, within what you know about yourself. And again, increase doesn't mean you have to go vegan. It doesn't mean you have to be 100%. But if you're currently like, okay, if I'm going to be real, I probably eat 1 cup of vegetables a day. If you could just make that 2 cups, add, a little salad, have some veggies and hummus, some vegetable soup, something like that, some roasted vegetable, however you can get them in, this is excellent. If instead of having, 2 candy bars a day, you have 1 candy bar and the other is a piece of fruit, right? This is an upgrade. So that's a way to reduce the sugar and increase the fiber by having more fruit. So the question about purposely reducing fat in the diet, that Valerie asked, it's a great question, because she's following this logic of like, if the liver helps to deal with fats, would it be helpful to reduce the fat? Generally speaking, I'm going to answer this in a couple different ways. Yes, it's a great point. It's a good question. When you say reduce the fat, it's a little bit variable because it depends on how much you're having. Some of you, I know, like as I've worked with you, you're not eating a ton of fat. You're eating small amounts of plant protein or plant fats. I'm not too worried. For those of you that are on a little bit more of a standard American diet and you have a lot of animal fats, saturated fats, processed oils and things like that, for sure, I would reduce that as much as you can. What questions do we have on food? This is gonna be a little bit purposefully not strict, partly because this is a beginner detox. I don't want to scare anybody away. And if I'm going to be honest, maybe I shouldn't tell you this, but I've seen some insane results with people not making totally radical food changes. So I want to let's go slow so it's sustainable. I'm real big on lifestyle change as opposed to, let's go crazy and cut out every food that we love. And then next week you're, neck deep in a bucket of ice cream. That's not going to work for most of us, right? So, what questions do we have about the food piece? Anything?
I just have a question, maybe not food, but like water. Like, can we have tea? Does tea and smoothies count towards the water intake?
Yes. Okay. Great question. So tea, in general, yes, I think tea is fine. The only thing I will say is it's going to depend a little bit. Well, first of all, yes, you can have it. I would be a little bit aware of if you have a lot of green or black tea, which is caffeinated, I would just pay attention to that, because just like coffee is caffeinated, if you have too much of those things, it may mess with your sleep. And we don't want to do anything to mess with your sleep. The other thing with caffeine tends to be actually dehydrating. So if you're like drinking all this water and then drinking a lot of caffeine, I hate to tell you, but 1 ounce per pound is going up. So, some in nutritional science, there's a lot of experts that say you need 1 ounce of water for every ounce of caffeinated beverage you have. So if you weigh 200 pounds and you want to drink, we'll say 16 ounces of caffeinated whatever, then you might need 216 ounces. The number, it's not about like the exact number, it's just really getting your water up. But tea, if it's herbal tea, no problem. So like peppermint tea, chamomile tea, that should be fine. If it's caffeinated, I would just not go crazy, just like I'm saying with the coffee. But again, I want it to be relative to you. If you're used to having 6 cups of green tea, cut it down to 4 or 5, right? Start there. And then your smoothie, yeah, water you put in your smoothie definitely counts. Jerry, what's your question?
Um, so I've been taking a plant-based protein mix in the morning,
Yeah.
and I know that that might be processed, right? So is that okay to take?
Do you know what it's made of? Is it like a protein powder?
Yes. I
Okay.
got it from my nutritionist
Okay.
when I went on a diet for inflammation.
Okay.
I was trying to get rid of inflammation out of my body.
Got
And
it.
so I went on, hired a nutritionist and did this protein powder
Yep.
that's vegan. And I didn't really look to see if it was a processed one, but I tried to stay away from processed stuff. So
Yeah.
that's something I don't know.
Good question. I can't say for sure without testing it, but I do love smoothies, which I put good quality protein powder in. So you could send it to us. To energetically test it, I'd have to have the substance in my hand, but you could look at the ingredients, and if it says like something isolate, or if there's a bunch of words you can't even read, then probably avoid it. But if it is like, there are some good, we have 2 different good quality protein powders that we use. The Health Force one is from brown rice and hemp seeds, and then the one from Premier Research Labs. And you can, if you go to our website, actually, Christy, can you put the protein powders in there? If you go to our website, there's a PRL plant protein and a Health Force one. The Health Force one is, I always miss one of these. There's 5 ingredients. So it's pomegranate seed, pumpkin seed, brown rice, hemp, and one more. But anyway, those are 2 options that are great if you feel like you need more protein. So generally speaking, doing a protein drink in the morning, or putting protein in your green smoothie, I love. But hard to say about that exact one.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll just go to your website if she puts that in the chat, and then I can just purchase it from there.
Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, then we
Thank
know.
you so much.
You're welcome. Good question. Any other questions on the food piece? And guys, this is where like I really want this to be sustainable, but the more all in you go, I don't want you to go so in that you're like you can't sustain it, but the more all in you go, the faster you're going to move. So this is where we want to, as I said before, be consistent without judgment and rigidity. So
Dr. Leon, the fat thing. So if we could eliminate like nuts and avos where we're getting most of our fat in a day, is it because of the detox? Would it be best if you can, if it doesn't bother you, just to eliminate that for this few weeks?
I would not eliminate it because your brain needs fat. So
Okay.
this is the thing we want to make sure. Fat is not the enemy. It's processed, hard to digest fat that is the problem, and it's too much fat. So, if you're talking about a handful of walnuts or some chia seeds or some avocados. I mean, your brain does need some fat.
Okay,
So yeah, definitely don't eliminate.
all right, thank you.
Mike.
Yes. So is there anything we can do to, or does the detox interact with like muscle growth or muscle depletion? So if we're drinking a lot of water, we're detoxing. Is there anything we can do to make sure that if we're in a phase where we're trying to put on muscle?
Okay, so this is a great question because I know this applies to a lot of you. So anymore, I'm especially my clients that want to lose weight. I'm like, I'm not going to talk about weight loss. Let's talk about fat loss. So this is a great question. Most of us, with a few exceptions, are looking to, even if you don't need to lose weight, most of us are looking to get stronger and healthier, right? So that means losing fat and gaining muscle. So the two key things that are really, really important for that combination of losing fat and gaining muscle are going to be increasing your protein. I strongly prefer the plant proteins, of course, and increasing your weight bearing exercise. So weightlifting, strength training, there's lots of ways to do this. So this is a great question, and I have seriously considered, and I may do this on the next round, making as part of the detox, getting a body fat test beforehand and doing a before and after. What I can tell you is, what I would love to tell you is like, yes, the detox will help you increase muscle. That wouldn't surprise me, but I don't know if there's enough literature to support that. Not because it's not true, but because I don't know that the work's been done. So what I do know is when your liver works better, your digestion is going to work better. So you're going to be able to absorb and assimilate your amino acids better, which are your building blocks of protein. So in theory, you should be able to build muscle more effectively and efficiently if you're getting enough protein to begin with. But getting enough protein, that's thing number one, but then also building the muscle by breaking it down through weight bearing exercise is really key. And you guys all want to be doing this, even for those of you that don't want to lose weight, because increased muscle mass is associated with increased longevity and also quality of life as you age and looking hotter in Mexico. So these are all things we want. Any other questions?
I want to look better in Michigan.
Looking better. How about looking better naked, no matter where you are? Everybody wants that. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about a couple other things. One thing I want to talk about is setting up your space, and I want to just touch on the importance of environment. So I want you to think about your environment and all that it includes. Your environment includes the air you breathe, the music you listen to, the podcast you listen to, the noise in the background, whether it's traffic, a barking dog, waves crashing, whatever the case might be. It includes the food you eat, the thing, just every part of your life. We've all heard if you're working at a messy desk, it's hard to be really effective and efficient in your work. And so I want you to just be kind of taking a mental inventory of like, okay, is there something I could do that would set me up to do better if you work somewhere where there's a break room full of junk food and you have control over it? Maybe you own the business or, whatever, get it out of there. If you don't have control over it, can you work in a different cubicle that's the farthest away from it? You like set yourself up. I want to talk to some of you who are living with spouses that don't eat like you, because I know there's a bunch of you in this situation. Encourage your spouse to come along with you if they will. Don't make it a hill worth dying on. But if they don't want to go there, that's totally fine. Oops, sorry. Got my thing going off here. If they don't want to go with you, that's totally fine. But also encourage them to buy the junk food that is not tempting for you, right? If like you both love pizza, but they love corn dogs and you think that's disgusting, have them eat corn dogs when they want junk food. I don't know where corn dogs came from. I don't know who eats those, but you know what I'm saying. If you both love chocolate, but they like Doritos, have them get the Doritos, have them have like, or if you buy the groceries and they insist that you buy them certain junk food items, it's like as much as possible, have them get the things that aren't so tempting for you. Right. And there is a place to have a little heart to heart where you're like, hey, I need your support here. Listen, we're not taking anyone's personal sovereignty. Don't try to strong arm them, manipulate them. It will always backfire on you. Okay. But it might be a time to say, look, you don't have to change anything, but I need to do this for me. And I would love your support. Now, if you're going to do that, be very clear about what that looks like. And don't say like, what I mean by your support is you making me dinner all the time, you changing your diet, that'd be great. And again, if they're up for that, cool. And for those of you like Brett and Michelle that are doing this with your spouse, or Ken and Mallory, I love that. That's so amazing. And you have such a gift that you're just both willing to do this. But even for you guys, you'll have friends, you'll have family members, you go to things and like you guys are the weirdos because you're eating good food. I'm like, only in America do we get made fun of for eating good food, but just manipulate your environment the best you can in the most loving way that you can do it, right? We don't want to wreak havoc and create a toxic environment by creating war with somebody in our house about food. One of my mentors, Dr. Gabriel Cousins, used to say, food is a love note from God. So if it's a love note from God, then we probably don't want to use it to create war. Okay. I want to go back to water, and I want to talk about, we're going to do a little 101 on water because this is actually really cool. First, a little bit more, housekeeping. Water. We want clean water. I alluded to this a few minutes ago, but if you're like, oh, I'm drinking all this water and you're getting city water, you're like intoxicating yourself with toxins. And the whole point of this is to get rid of them. Now, if for those of you trying to lose weight, or more importantly, lose fat, toxins get sequestered or surrounded by fat cells so that they're not floating around in your blood making you sick. So if you want to lose fat, you have to let go of the reason that the fat is trying to keep you safe from to begin with. You create safety in the body by reducing the toxic load, and then the body's able to like, oh, okay, it's safe. We can let these toxins out because they'll get flushed out. If the body thinks they're going to be like reabsorbed every time, which this happens, by the way, if you get up, many of you know that I recommend drinking a quart of water or so first thing in the morning. I've done this for years. I get up and within, I would say 10 minutes or less of being up, I have 32 ounces down. And I do that because you wake up dehydrated, and you also wake up having gone through a lot of healing in the night. Your body's healing, repairing, getting rid of stuff. And if you get up in the morning and you don't drink a lot of water and flush it out, those toxins that your body worked so hard for you to release get reabsorbed into the body, and they're more and more toxic every time they get reabsorbed. So you can think of it like, how like if you don't take out your trash one day, it's like not too bad. And the second day, it's like, it stinks a little bit. You can only smell it in the kitchen. And the third day, you're like, okay, we can smell it in the front door. And, like it gets grosser every time you don't take the trash out. That's kind of what's happening. So, if you really want to create safety in the body so the weight or the fat can be released and you can start to feel more strong and toned, and most of you actually have a decent amount. You still probably want to improve it, but most of you probably have a decent amount of muscle, But because fat is so like viscous, you only need about this much to cover that muscle for it to look squishy, fat, like looks fattier, right? So a small amount of fat loss, I'd always rather have you lose a little bit of fat than a little bit of weight, because weight could be water, it could be muscle, which would be really bad. So first thing in the morning, lots of water, and you want to make sure you're getting clean water. So I recommend reverse osmosis or distilled. You can definitely have a water cooler service come in, you know, the ones that like deliver the 5 gallon, like big jugs of it. You can also buy gallons of water at the store, although I find that to be a big pain because most of you are going to be drinking a gallon of water a day or more, and then you're cooking with it. And so it's like you're hauling 10 gallons of water, which you can do. I did that for many years. But if you are in a house where you're going to be long term, I would highly recommend putting in a reverse osmosis system. Obviously, it's a little more on the front end, but then you've got safe water to drink and cook with for you and your family for years to come. Um, don't quote me. I think they're anywhere from $400 to $800, depending on who installs them. If you're good at that kind of thing, you could probably do it yourself. But so make sure you're getting clean water. Make sure you're drinking first thing in the morning so you can flush out those toxins. We talked about how drinking water improves fat loss because your fat is holding on. And I talk about that more, by the way, in my book. Some of you have read the Quantum Weight Loss Blueprint. Christy, can you just post that link? In that book, I think I talk about 24 or 26 reasons why people have trouble losing weight. And it is well beyond just you eat too much, you don't exercise. That's like an old model. Then in water, of course, drinking plenty of water definitely will improve your skin. And then here's the other big thing that I get super excited about. Water is a conductor. Why does that matter? So here's the thing. Your brain is mostly made of fat and water. Your blood is mostly made of water. Even your bones, I think, are like, I want to say like 30% water. Your blood's like 90%. Your brain, I think, is 75%. And so water is making up the majority of your body. Now, when I say water is a conductor, this is one of the things that I think is really key to recognize. Water carries with it a frequency. And I want to show you, let me just, I'm going to share my screen. I want to show you a picture. Some of you know about the work of Dr. Masaru Emoto. He's an Asian doctor, and he did this study on water. Oh, shoot, where'd it go? He did this study where he took like different glasses of water, and he would write like a word or a phrase on each one. And then he would let it sit for about 24 hours. And then he'd look at it under a microscope. And I'm going to show you that now. It's really phenomenal what he found. So, like, for example, if you look at this first one, he wrote the word angel on the jar and then walked away. So this is, he's just writing on the jar. And you see this very like beautiful, symmetrical, almost like a crown or a halo. He wrote the word peace, beautiful, symmetrical. He wrote spirit, beautiful. He wrote the words, you disgust me. Look at this one here. Can you see this fourth one in? It looks like a virus, right? It's like kind of ugly. It's not symmetrical, right? The next words, you fool. And I thought this was kind of funny. Some people, I think, updated this because we have some songs, like a John Lennon song, Amazing Grace, photo of a dolphin. We have some other ones. You can see some different pictures, but these are really, this is one of the things that we need to think about when we're taking the liver sauce, when we're drinking our water, when we're nourishing our body with good food. All of these things, because we are so filled with water, your body, even if you're relatively dehydrated, worst case scenario, if you're sitting here listening to me right now, you're at least 70% water. So as you increase your water content, you're also like almost like amplifying the frequency of the words that you're saying and the thoughts that you're thinking. Now, I know for some of you, you're like, wait, what? Let me say this. We'll talk about this in some different terms. So every time you fill your glass of water and take a drink, what's happening? Yes, you're getting hydrated, but also it's amplifying your intention. So one of the reasons I asked you guys to tell me the favorite feeling that you love to feel. So some of you is love or peace, contentment. What were some other ones? I have them here because I just love this so much. Joy, gratitude, autonomy. I love it. Freedom. I love to feel unlimited. Jerry, I love tranquility, rested. So here's the thing. And by the way, you can change these if you want to. If like sometimes I know in the chat, I saw like some people are, oh, I like that one. Oh, I like that one. You can, there's going to be sometimes, and this is what I love about this group. You're going to hear somebody else's and go like, oh, I think I'm going to switch to that. Which is totally fine. But the reason I want you to have that in mind is as we, throughout the detox, we're going to be focused on that feeling a lot. And I love the idea of as you fill your water in the morning, thinking about love or thinking about peace and taking that into your body, because the frequency of these positive feelings, they vibrate at a healthy frequency. They will bring your health, your level of health up. Right now, for those of us, and sometimes this happens in life, who get, you ever done this where you're like having a good day and you get a phone call or a, email or something at work and it just gets you like spins you out, you get wrapped up in the drama and you kind of get high on it and you get addicted to that negative feeling. And then all of a sudden it's like, where's my gratitude? Where's my peace? Where's my love that I had this morning? Let's keep drinking it. Let's keep putting it into our body. Let's keep that intention and hold that intention. One of the things I want to just mention along these lines that actually Michelle came up with last time, which I love so much, is when you take the liver sauce, as you take the liver sauce, you can say it out loud or you can't actually say it out loud because you have to hold the liver sauce in your mouth for 60 seconds. You could say it before you take it, or you can say it in your head of just having this like intention or this affirmation where you're like, as I take this liver sauce, it is going to do powerful things in my body, right? That simple. Or it could be, I love the health I'm getting as I do this detox. One sentence, very simple, short, easy. And it's something like that where you're just continually affirming the intention that you're looking to do or get. All right. Any questions before we bust into the what next? I have two more things to run through here. Any questions on water or intentions?
I just wanted to say one thing about food. So some things that I used to love, whether it was candy or whatever, I look at all the ingredients now because they're putting in like bioengineered food ingredients and different things. So things that I loved, whatever. So that's kind of stopping me in the track. So even if it comes in the house,
Yeah.
I've already been like, oh, this is a roadblock for me. So for me, that's kind of been that. And like other things, like I love dates. So if I need something sweet, and it kind of fills me up pretty quick if I have like 3.
Yeah.
I'll just have some dates and that kind of just like resets. And so
I love it. Yeah, no, that's good, Jen. And thanks for sharing that. I love that too, because what you're describing is you start having a higher standard for yourself. I just like you get to a point where you don't see certain things as options as foods. Now for those of you who are like, yeah, not there yet, that's okay. But just continually educate yourself, because one of the things that happens is the more you know about these things, the more I remember learning, I mean, honestly, it was probably 18 years ago now, about genetically modified foods and animals that were tested with, that were fed genetically modified foods would have like extra fingers, sometimes extra genitals and sometimes not enough. And like, I mean, it was a mess when they started doing this testing. And I was like, okay, I don't eat corn anymore. I don't eat, like, it was just like end of story. And so, yes, I think the education piece helps us set a new standard. So I love that. And yeah, for sure, if you're a sugar junkie and you love the sweet stuff, I think you'll be shocked and amazed and awed by the beauty of dates and figs and dried apricots and things like that as substitutes for like candy. Any other questions or comments or
I
hacks?
have one more.
Let's hear it.
Oil pulling. I usually do oil pulling while I'm in the shower in the morning, but obviously I should wait and do it at night right now because if I'm doing the liver sauce in the morning.
Yeah, probably, well, you would just want to do it at least, let's see. I would just do it a half hour after your binder.
After
So
the binder.
if
Okay.
if you're like, that doesn't work because I'm going to take the liver sauce, go get in the shower and then do the binder, then, however, I would just do it at least a half hour after your binder. Yeah.
Perfect.
So oil
you.
pulling, for those of you who don't know, is a great thing to do to help promote good bacteria in the mouth and can be helpful for just dental hygiene, and it actually helps remove plaque and things like that. My only problem with oil pulling, I actually love it. It's just most of the instructions out there will tell you to pull. It's, you basically put like a tablespoon of coconut oil in your mouth and you swish it around for like a few minutes. But most of these blogs and places that talk about oil pulling recommend that you do anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. That is too long. Our mouth, even in really clean people that brush a lot, it gets a lot of bacteria. So after 2 to 5 minutes, that oil is toxic. Spit it out. Get it out of your mouth. If you want to go longer than that, cool. Get a fresh tablespoon of oil, go again. Probably not a problem. I mean, I can't think of any reason why it'd be a problem to do it a couple times a day if you want to, not that you would need to. But just don't overuse the oil to where it's like getting reabsorbed in your mouth, because there's so many mucous membranes in your mouth. You're going to pull it out and then it's going to be reabsorbed if you keep it in too long. So I love the oil pulling. Just set a 5-minute timer max. And for those of you who want to try this, if you've never done oil pulling, do it like 2 minutes for the first few days, then go up to like 2.5 or 3. Then, take a little bit and work up to 5 minutes. I wouldn't do more than 5 minutes. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the, back to the corn, so I think I remember you saying at some point in time that there really isn't such thing as organic corn or soy anymore, or is that?
Yeah, so the idea is that those two crops, corn and soy, have been so inundated by the GM demons that it's hard to tell if it's like, so here's what happens. If you're not familiar with the genetically modified crops, they're subsidized by the government, they're really cheap, and what would happen is Monsanto and the producers of these things would go and throw their bad seed in the organic farmer's field and then say, see, they're not organic. And so we don't really know. Now, the good thing is if you have energy eyes like I do, like when you test, do QRA testing, you can actually test these foods. I personally don't think corn is a great, like, it doesn't, how would I say, it doesn't get digested very well for most people, I'll just say.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can see it in the toilet, even if you feel like you're really slow chewing really well. So corn, I would say no. Soy, I think it's possible, but you would want to test it. If you're talking about organic, tofu or edamame, I think it's definitely, you can get those things in organic, but it is really hard. But here's the other thing. Most people are getting corn and soy in really processed foods. you're getting it in corn oils.
Do they?
You mute, I think it's Julie.
If they're not supposed to.
No, I think we got it. Okay. Yeah, so they're typically getting it in processed foods. So in processed foods, you got a whole nother list of issues as well. Any other final things to say? Okay, so let's go through our upgrade assignments. This is your mission. Christy's gonna share this once I go through it.
Actually, it looks like iPhone person has their hand up.
What's that? Oh,
iPhone person has their hand up, maybe?
yep. Oh, hold on. Hold on, sorry, I gotta stop the share before I can. All right. Julie, did you have a question? Oh, there we go.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. You had some background noise, so I muted you. You're good. Okay. Thanks, Michelle. I didn't see that. All right. So let me share my screen. And then as soon as we're done going through this, Christy will post this here as well as in the WhatsApp group. So you don't have to write this down. Okay, number 1, complete your list of symptoms if you haven't already. Remember, go through, ask your spouse, ask your kids, go from head to toe, go through your day. When you lay down at night, do you have aches or pains? Do you toss and turn in your sleep? Go through your whole 24-hour day, go from head to toe, ask your people that you live with. Create a comprehensive list. Now, this is going to be the fun part, and you can't do number 2 until you do number 1. Okay, so you're going to write a new list called Upgrades Me 2.0. Okay, these are the things you want to focus on for the next 4 weeks. Example, if you had dry, itchy skin, you might want to put, I want soft, glowing skin. If you had trouble sleeping, you might want to put sleeping like a baby, right? Now, oh, come on, computer. There we go. This list should be really about the same length as the other one. Feel free to use the other one because these are almost going to be like opposites, right? For the most part, there might be something that doesn't have an exact opposite or whatever. That's fine. It should be about the same size because you're like, okay, I have this, I want this. I would start with a blank page and write what you want for your health, kind of like you did with your symptom list. Start by just, what are your symptoms? Boom. Then go back to list number 1 and start looking at kind of like, okay, I have these issues. I want these to be fixed. As much as possible, really work hard to use positive language. So instead of saying, I don't want to have sleep issues, you're going to say, I want to sleep like a baby. Do you see the difference? Instead of saying not being overweight or even losing weight, I want to release excess body fat. If you understand what I'm saying, can you give me like a thumbs up or a nod? Yes, perfect. Okay, good. Then choose one upgrade. I want this to be doable, but don't be a baby. Push yourself a little bit. That you plan to do with your food for the next 4 weeks. So think about this. This could be reducing or eliminating something that you know isn't working for you. It could also be like adding something. Like I haven't really been eating vegetables. I want to start eating 1 cup of vegetables every day. Okay. You can always increase it later. But be specific. So instead of like less alcohol, right? I'm going to fast from alcohol for the next 4 weeks, or I'm going to reduce my alcohol consumption from, 3 glasses or down to 3 glasses of organic red wine per week. Okay. Make it fit your life. For some of you, some of these, like it may not be practical to be alcohol free, not that you can't do it, but for 4 weeks. But for others of you, you're like, I don't drink anyway. So don't choose that. We all have a vice. And I'm not trying to take away something you love, but this is an upgrade for you. So whatever that is. Any questions, or does anybody need help on this? Okay. The next one, the last one, this is a household favorite. It's called 50 Places, 50 Items. Please have fun with it. And I would love to see your before and after pictures, by the way, of your bags of items. Now, we're making room for newness, for healing, spaces for deep breathing, and an energy of calm and balance. This is not cleaning, it's purging slash minimalizing and making space for new things. So you're going to be going through 5 places in your house and getting rid of 50 things. Now, for some of you, if you have the time, I know last time some people like gutted their house. One lady had her whole minivan was full of stuff she was getting rid of. Awesome. But for those of you who are like, okay, I do not have time to take that on, no problem. So one of the places you might do, one of the 5 places might be open your junk drawer. We all have one somewhere. It could be in your kitchen, your garage, your entryway, whatever. Pull out 10 things, done. Open up your pantry, pull out 10 things, outdated food, broken blender, whatever it is, throw it away, whatever. So number 1, throw away junk. Anything stained, broken, or dysfunctional. For things that you don't want or don't need, but they're in good shape, bag or box them up to donate, but just don't let them live in your car, okay? Or in your garage, or like where they're going to end up sitting there forever and still taking up space. Now, I want to just reiterate again, like, what does this have to do with liver detox? What does this have to do with health? What does this have to do with detoxification? Remember, your environment, we know that according to epigenetics, that our environment plays a huge role in how we feel, how we think, how healthy, how much energy we have. So when you clean somebody sent me this quote recently, clean your spaces, your house, your room, your car, your mind, and your heart. New things are coming. Make sure you're welcoming them properly. I love that, right? So I'm going to give you some ideas, so don't worry. You do not have to go through all of these. You can pick, well, you need to pick 5 different places, 10 things from each. So in your kitchen, again, you could clean out your refrigerator. If you have a pantry or your silverware drawer, some weird stuff gets thrown in the silverware drawer, right? You can go through this. I'm not going to read them to you, but you get the idea. Now, I know for some of you, your desktop, just remember, this is not cleaning. Okay. We're not talking about wiping things down, dusting behind the cords. This is getting rid of things. Okay. So if you have a stack of mail that you've been saving because you might need it, like you're getting rid of the things you don't need. Bookshelves, get any books that you don't love or you won't read or you won't reread. Sometimes we save books because we're like, oh, that one was really good. If you're not going to read it, give that really book. If you're not going to reread it, I should say, give that really good book to somebody who will. Like, that's a great, I love it. People give me books. If they're good books, I'm like, I love that. That's perfect. Then I want to give an option though for any of you, because I promised you that this could be done on the road, if you're traveling, all the things. So if by chance you're going to be traveling this week or you're not home, you can still get started on this, because in our digital age, we also have to clean out our tech. So you could clean off your phone, delete photos you don't want. One of my favorites, delete apps that distract you from your highest goals. Right? So if you have an app, whether it's Facebook or games or whatever it is for you, that you're like, it provides no value to you. I'm nothing against if you're actually getting legit entertainment or you're staying connected with your family or whatever, but deleting apps that waste your time, great option. Remove contacts you don't ever talk to. Same on your computer. So if you're traveling, clear your computer's desktop, unsubscribe from junk emails, get old files that you no longer need. If you're traveling, most of us have a travel kit full of all kinds of random stuff that's been riding around with us from place to place. Or if you have a travel bag, like a computer bag. I mean, I swear I could live out of my computer bag if I had to. So every now and then I'm like, let's purge that puppy. Remember, this is not cleaning. The goal is to create space, and therefore greater energy. Again, this one, you know, at first a lot of people were like, what? But this is one of the things that gave people a lot of momentum to really like go after their health, because they felt like, okay, now that my kitchen's cleaned up and my desk is cleaned up and my bedroom nightstand is cleaned up, these are some of the places I spend a lot of time. Now I feel like I can get my head around making better food or eating less sugar. Like, we all have a limited amount of headspace. So when we can take energy away from one area, we can put it to other better, more important things. All right. Christy, go ahead and post that. Does anybody have questions about the upgrade assignment? Okay, I'm just looking to make sure nobody has questions. All right, beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, if you're not already, go ahead and mute yourself. So Christy has the upgrade assignment here. It will also be posted momentarily in the WhatsApp group if it's not already. So don't worry, like I said, you don't have to memorize or write anything down. I'm going to ask you, we're almost done, just a couple minutes. I'm going to have you go ahead. We're going to do a really brief meditation. So before we start, the only thing I'm going to ask you to do is get your favorite feeling to feel in your head. Don't overthink it. So if you're like, I can't remember what it was, what's your favorite feeling to feel? If you are like on the fence, it could be this one or it could be that one. Just pick one for now. This isn't like the only one you're ever going to get to feel, and I will not let you feel any other feelings. Okay. So your peace, your calm, your tranquility, your freedom. Okay, go ahead and close your eyes. I promise this will be just a couple minutes. Like usually it's anywhere from 2 to 4, so I won't leave you here for long. All right, take a deep breath and hold it. Hold your breath. When we hold our breath, we're filling our body with oxygen. And let it out slowly. And like, let it all out, push it out. And hold it at the bottom for just a couple seconds. This is a little harder. Good. Relax and breathe normal. Okay. Knowing that you're in a safe space, I want you to get your favorite feeling in mind. Whatever it is. And if you don't have one right away, just like open your heart for a half a second and the right word will come in. So don't panic. Okay, so whatever it is, I want you to relax, get comfortable, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. These are places we often hold tension. And think about that feeling like washing over you, like you've never felt so much love or so much peace. It's like it's so intense. You could almost cry tears of joy. You almost want it to stop because you don't even know, you've never felt this much love. You've never felt this much peace, this much freedom. You've never felt so content. Sit with that for a minute. What would that feel like? What would it sound like? What would your thoughts be? Maybe you would feel completely present. You wouldn't need to think anything at all because you're just right here being overwhelmed with this beautiful feeling. stay with it. I know this can be a challenge because your brain wants to kind of knock you off your block here, but stay in that filling. Let it wash over you. Good. Take a really long, slow, deep breath. Relax the shoulders away from your ears and hold your breath. Hold it. And let it out slowly. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. All right, beautiful, amazing, good job. It was a blessing to share the space with you. I love you guys. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited. This is not like we'll see you next week. I'm intending to be interacting throughout the week, answering questions, supporting each other. But next week, you're going to already have some wins to share. So be ready to do that. Any final questions before we say good night? Okay, really good. I always love, like, I just wish I could just like tuck you all in. So hopefully you can kind of wind down. Jerry, you're still a little earlier than the rest of us on the East Coast right now. But have an amazing night and a powerful week and enjoy that liver sauce.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Good night, everybody.
Bye.